What is going on, everyone? Misha Wilson here, and welcome to another episode of Marketing with Misha. Today I want to talk about the topic of getting unstuck, breaking through plateaus, and getting to the next level in your business. Wow, it's bright out here. Let me know what your name is and where you are coming in from, and we'll go ahead and get the show on the road when I have someone on here with me. Quick little panoramic view. It's a cloudy but beautiful day here on the usually sunny island of Maui, Hawaii. And another awesome day. So let me know what your name is and where you're coming in from. And I'm gonna go ahead and get the show on the road when I see a comment come in, or it looks like I can't see comments with the current setup, but I do have a couple of people on here with me. Renee, how are you? Good to see you guys. And with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and dive right into today's content. And I wanna share a little story. So someone recently asked me, this was someone who had been following me from the very beginning, and they had kind of seen me go through the different stages of my business, you know, starting off as an affiliate, then having my own products, then of course having my own system, then having my own higher ticket products, having my own live events. And they were just kind of asking how I continue to evolve, how I continue to move forward, how I continue to try to always push to the next level in my business, how I continue to, you know, grow the business and scale the business to the next level. And I think they kind of had this perception of me that I had never been stuck, that it was just always kind of, you know, sunshine and rainbows for me and my business. And the truth is, that's very far from the truth. And I've been stuck at different levels of the business quite a few times. When I first came online, you know, I buried myself $10,000 in debt before I made any money, $9,755 in debt. I got evicted a couple of different times. So my first little, you know, path to success was by no stretch of the imagination's easy. And then, I remember very clearly getting stuck a couple of different times in my business. And I remember when I learned this lesson, it allowed me to always kind of at least get to the next level at a certain point in time, whether it be that day, a week from then, a month from then, a year from then, etc. And it was when I was at the six-figure mark. And I remember being stuck at six figures. And I remember being stuck at about the $10,000 per month revenue, you know, level. And while a lot of you on here listening to my voice and paying attention to this live, you might be thinking, God, you know, I'd love to be stuck at the $10,000 per month level. And give me some likes, comments, hearts, shares if you would love to be stuck at the $10,000 per month level. But really, it's one of those things where universally, if you're stuck, you're stuck. And it feels the exact same if you're stuck at the $10,000 per month level, you know, then if you're stuck at the $50,000 per month level, or if you're stuck at the $100,000 per month level, or if you're stuck at the $500,000 per month level, it sucks. And it's one of those things that no one wants to feel stuck. Everyone wants to feel progress. And again, the thing that an entrepreneur gets the most value out of is feeling progress, all right? And I actually heard something very interesting from Russell Brunson, and this is a little bit of a tangent, but he was talking about the difference between an entrepreneur and a regular person. He was talking about how entrepreneurs don't actually identify with happy and sad. They identify with making progress or not making progress. And so it kind of shows just how important making progress is, and it shows just how painful being stuck is in your business. And again, I was stuck at the six-figure mark, and I couldn't seem to create my breakthrough. And I remember learning this lesson from a mentor, and really then applying it. And it took a little while for it to actually kick in, but once it did kick in, it really immediately got my business to the next level. And then from there, it's what I always focus on in my business. And that is the lesson of stepping into the shoes and stepping into the activities of that person who's at that next level before you're actually there. All right. So the tendency is, what you do is you learn a certain skill set, you apply that skill set, and then after you've applied that skill set, you get this result based on applying that skill set. And let's say that gets you to the six-figure level, all right? The tendency then in your business is to keep applying more of that same skill set, to keep taking more action on that same activity, to keep, let's say as an example, hosting more webinars, to keep sending more emails, to keep, you know, making more phone calls, whatever it may be that got you to that level. And the problem is that what got you here won't get you there, all right? And that is the lesson. What got you here won't get you there. Who got you here oftentimes? The team, the people, the system maybe won't necessarily get you there to that next level. And the lesson is this: whenever you're trying to level up, whenever you're trying to go from one place to the other, it's not going to be more of the same skill set that gets you to that next level. It's going to be maybe even less, but of a different skill set. All right. So as an example, you can host as many webinars as you want, but you're not going to get the same effectiveness when it comes to closing higher ticket sales than you'll get hosting a live event, right? So that's that next skill set that you need to master in order to get to the next level in your business. If, let's say, you're running a multiple 6-figure or even 7-figure business, you can work yourself to the bone. You can work 16-hour days, but you're never going to get to, let's say, the $500,000 per month mark unless you get to the skill set, unless you learn the skill set of building out an efficient team around you, a team of people who are capable of really, applying more leverage to your business to allow you to get more done without you necessarily having to be attached to everything in your business. You're never going to be able to get to the next level, if you can't put a system and a process in place that's then duplicatable by other people without you necessarily having to be there. So they're all different skill sets at each level that will get you to that next level, right? Now, with that in mind, the question then becomes, what would the person who's making what I want to make be doing on a daily basis? And that's the question that I'm constantly asking myself, all right? So let's say I want to get to the 8-figure mark in my business. The question then becomes, what would the 8-figure earner be doing in their business? And here's a perfect example. At the 7-figure mark, when we were doing just about $1 million a year here at SAN, I was writing every single email. I was writing 2 emails per day. I was hosting webinar after webinar after webinar after webinar on almost, let's say, a weekly basis. I think maybe every other week, very oftentimes on a weekly basis. And I was constantly taking more and more and more action, but the same action, right? And what I found is that while that was good for producing revenue at that 7-figure level, while that was good for producing revenue up to a certain point, give it 1 minute, it ended up capping out. And it ended up being where the biggest bottleneck, the biggest constraint within the system was my time. The biggest constraint within, the ability to host a weekly webinar was my time within that system. And so the question became, how can we get the same effectiveness of hosting a weekly webinar, but without having me be there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or even a monthly webinar? And so really what we've evolved to is now we have automated webinars that play every single day, every single week, every single month. We have certain webinars that are more high impact than others, where we actually have people on those webinars, manning those webinars, acting as if the webinar is very live, so we get the exact same effect. And we set up a system and a process around that, which allows me to get myself out of it, which allows me to focus on the higher level activities in my business, right? I was sending email after email after email after email when I was at the 7-figure level, never really, identifying the critical drivers, never really identifying the key performance indicators, never really dialing in, what was actually driving the revenue of the business. So I was just focused on taking massive action, not really knowing where the leads, where the sales, where the profits, where the higher profit margins were in the business, and really only focusing on taking more action in order to get to the next level. Now it's much more deliberate. Now it's much more dialed in. Now it's much more of, okay, I know that these 3 critical drivers, if hit on a daily basis, will result in this conversion rate on the back end. And we have everything tracked down to a T. And really what I'm doing on a daily basis is I'm looking at it from a 30,000-foot view, looking for where there might be that missing piece of the puzzle, looking at how we might solve that, problem, how we might fill that little hole, how we might improve that, little missing piece of the puzzle, how we might strengthen that little weak spot within the system. And then I have the team, then I have the people at SAN, then I have, Jason, Dan, I have Charlie, I have everybody, I have, of course, Wingman Coaching on the back end to help me to improve those little pieces of the puzzle, to strengthen that weakest piece within the system. Now, that's much more of, a multi-million-dollar business owner mindset. That's much more of even an 8-figure, business owner mindset. You're focused more on leverage. You're focused more on team. You're focused more on culture within the team. You're focused more on mission of the organization. You're focused more on the organization chart. You're focused more on really dialing in team autonomy within your team, so things get done without you having to be there all the time. You have your standard operating procedures. And again, you're really looking at optics, you're looking at data, and you're looking at really kind of more or less, the 30,000-foot view, the bird's eye view of what's going on within the business, in order to make a small little tweak that, when made, will have a massive impact overall on your bottom line, on your revenue, and then on your profit, right? But if I weren't asking that question, and we got the siren warning here at the very beginning of every single month, if I weren't asking that question of what's that person at that next level focusing on, if I weren't asking that question of, you know, if I were an 8-figure business owner, what would I be focusing on a daily basis? What I would have continued to do would be more of the same. I would have continued to write more emails. I would have continued to host more webinars. I would have continued, you know, instead of 1 webinar a week, I would have done 2 webinars a week. And I would have continued to, again, take more and more and more of the same action trying to get to the next level in my business. And the big distinction that I want you to understand is that what got you here won't necessarily get you there. Oftentimes, it won't actually get you to that next level. If you're trying to take more of the same action to get to that next level, oftentimes it's actually taking less action, but really dialing in what that next level is, and then taking more strategic action towards that next level based on which action steps you would be taking if you were already there at that next level. So that's my message for you here today, and that's really the key to getting unstuck. Give me some likes, comments, hearts, shares, all that jazz. I know I went a little bit higher level here today. And what a critical driver is essentially, if you look at a key performance indicator being, let's say, the pro conversion rate here at SAN. Let's say we set a standard of 7% on the back end. We want 7% of front end buyers to convert into pro customers on the back end, right? A critical driver, usually it's just about 3 to 5 things that, if consistently executed upon, will result in that outcome of that 7% conversion rate. So as an example, a metaphor, let's say you're trying to get in shape, right? If you run, 3 miles per day, lift weights 4 times per week, and eat right over the course of, let's say, a month-long period, you getting into better shape, you having less fat, more muscle, more cardio endurance, better overall, just physiology, all of those things will happen as a result of those 3 to 5 things you do on a daily basis. So really what a critical driver is something that, if we have this percentage of, let's say, CC1 slots, which are the first coaching call within the process, within the Profit Boosting Bootcamp, if we know that we're connecting with 65 or 70% of every single CC1 person, every single new customer with a CC1 call, and I know I'm going over people's heads here, and then if we know that the next call we have, a 60% show up rate instead of a 65% show up rate, and then if we close at 20% of people who get to the CC3, that third call with an actual coach, we know that overall we will hit that 7% standard that we set as the company. So it's really chunked down smaller things that will lead to the bigger result when consistently executed upon. And then what you want to focus on as the business owner is looking at those smaller things, identifying what those smaller things are. If you don't know what they are as of right now, take some time to really identify them. But then once you know what they are, you want to look for the weakest link. You want to look for the area of improvement that you need to focus upon. And then from there, when you focus upon it, it'll help you to, again, make sure all the different spokes of the bicycle tire are in place, working correctly, in order to get you from point A to point B, wherever you might want to be. So, again, a little bit more high level. I hope that answers your question, and I hope you got some value out of today's episode. Give me some likes, comments, hearts, shares, all that jazz if you did. I appreciate each and every one of you. And if you haven't got your testimonial in for the Immersion Experience live event contest, case study, testimonial contest, wonder how many more words I can get stuck in there. Get your case study testimonial in very soon. We are going to be opening up voting very, very soon here. And again, the more quickly you get your case study in, the more votes you'll be able to get, the more time you'll have in order to go ahead and rack up votes, and the more of an advantage you'll have. Check out the SAN Insider Club Facebook group for all the details if you don't know what I'm talking about, and I'll talk with you all very soon. All right, guys, later.